Hello, this is Valerie Aiello, and you are listening to IdeaDiary. Thanks for coming back, y'all, and hanging out. Okay, so here's another money episode, I guess. I feel like sometimes I get on a roll on things, and then I feel like, okay, I need to talk about something else. But mainly, IdeaDiary is a show about inspiring to do whatever you want and kind of making a plan to fulfill your dreams. And I was watching this Garrett Gunderson video, and I'll link it in the description so you can go watch it. But he talks about these 5 pillars of generating wealth, and I just kind of wrote some notes I wanted to just go over because I really agree, but I really want you to go and watch one of his videos. You know, he thinks about money a little bit differently than a normal investment guru, wealth generating guru might suggest. And I lean on the side of a lot of the things that he talks about. You know, some things I don't fully understand when it comes to taxes and things like that. I think you kind of learn those things as you build money and you have your tax professionals helping you do your taxes. Hopefully you're learning pointers along the way where, yeah, we all have to pay our taxes and we all have to do it legally, but you don't want to tip the government is what he says. That's how he puts it. So you don't want to overpay your taxes when you pay a lot less following the rules that they set. And taxes, the laws when it comes to taxes, they're created in a way to incentivize you to make more wealth within the country. So when people get mad that rich people aren't paying as much taxes or companies are getting all these tax breaks, they're getting tax breaks because they're adding to the society in a way so the government doesn't have to. So when they're creating jobs, when they're creating homes, when they're creating all the different things that businesses create, they're kind of helping society. So they get a tax break or a tax incentive to make our world better. So the tax laws are supposed to help with building a better society, I guess. And so you need to follow the rules, but you also need to take advantage of the incentives that the rules provide you to pay less taxes. Okay, so the first pillar of creating wealth that Garrett Gunderson talks about is keep more than you make. So he says to become more efficient, plug the leaks, save on tax, save on your interest, save on your insurance, and save on your non-performing investment fees. So if you have your 401k listed with a certain company, you're paying a lot of fees on what you could be making more money on. When he talks about keeping more than you make, he's talking about keeping cash, but he isn't saying to live some sort of miserly sort of lifestyle. He does not talk about living cheap as possible to make money. You can't save yourself into wealth necessarily. So the old idea was The Millionaire Next Door. That was a famous book for a long time. And that was the idea that you could be a janitor, but if you just don't spend a single dime, you can retire wealthy someday. So Garrett Gunderson doesn't really believe in cutting all your living expenses so that you can live a better life someday. His thing is living better today. So we'll go on to number 2, which is engineer wealth. This was the big thing that I got out of his video today, which is he talks about doing things in this order, which is monthly sustained living expenses. So how much money do you want to make every month? And what are you going to spend that money on? Like, let's build that little plan. And it doesn't have to be the reality of today, but what is the goal? And then build your plan on how you're going to meet that goal. I know I'm not explaining this in the greatest way, and he might do it a little bit better. Basically, you want to write out how much money you want to make and what you're going to spend it on. Build the plan to say, okay, what's my choice? How am I going to make that money? And then you start to build your growth plan, kind of scaling up how you're going to get there. How is it going to become a reality? You don't want to start with, okay, how am I going to make all this money? Instead, you want to start with, what do I want? What are my rules that I want to follow for myself? How am I going to get there? Okay, I'm kind of rambling. Let's move it along. Number 3 is accelerate investment income. So become a cash flow investor. So I think there's a lot of ways to do this. Lots of ways to do this, obviously. So one of the things that I think about is, you can invest money in the stock market and it can sit there, or you can invest money into, say, rental property, and you can collect rent every month as cash flow. And that's just one example of accelerating your investment income. So you could figure out ways to make that rent worth more money. You can upgrade on houses. Okay, so when he talks about accelerating investment income, I think maybe he's talking about upgrading current investments, making sure that they're bringing in cash flow instead of just, say, sitting in a savings account and making no money. There's probably a handful of ideas that you can do this and accelerate the money coming in off of your investment money. Okay, so number 4 is scale business revenue. So he says, do what you do best and scale the rest. So figure out the things that you really enjoy and that you really want to do and you are the best at, and what are your skills. And then figure out what you're not good at and farm that out to other people. Or build a team of people that one person has the skills that you don't, and you all work together to build a successful business or a successful investment. There are a million ways to do that. And you can, if you're not into working in groups, I like working in groups and working with people, but if you're not into that, you can do it alone, and you can just pay people to do the things that you don't want to do. And that leaves you room to scale your business and to say, basically, when you hire out people to do the little jobs that take up a lot of your time and a lot of your brain energy, it leaves room for your brain to sit and think and expand and scale your business and have more ideas and to do a lot more things. I learned that by having a gift shop and thinking that I could work the gift shop myself and be there every day and just kind of be on my computer while I waited for customers. It seemed like an easy idea, but really was not the greatest idea, because I learned the value of a minimum wage employee, which is you really want that minimum wage employee to just be sitting there and waiting for customers. There's maybe some cleaning, dusting and sweeping and keeping things in order and stocking up and different things like that a minimum wage employee does. But the real point of it is to sit there and be waiting, to be that greeter and give the customer that full experience and full attention. That's kind of the point of the minimum wage employee. When you're in charge, you don't want that to be your job. You want to be able to hire that out and then use your brain for the free time to scale up and to have ideas and to build the business. Okay, and number 5 is make it count. And what he says about this is to create your own rules for what you want to do. Don't overextend yourself. Make everything you're doing for a reason, because I think the point of that is that when you have a big why for what you're doing and all the work that you're doing, there really is never a reason to retire or to want to retire. I always hear that phrase that people want to retire, and it's like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Everything you're doing should be so fun that you want to do it until your last dying day. And not to say that okay, I'm going to do this job for 10 years, and then I'm going to shift to this job for 10 years, and this career for 10 years, and this career for 10 years. There's some people that want to try a lot of things, and different careers are better when you're in your 20s, or better when you're in your 40s, or better when you're in your 60s. So, retiring isn't really a thing if you're really having fun and really enjoying yourself and really making it count. I think that's kind of the point of that. And he also talks about investing back into yourself when he mentions this. So, I don't know. I think that obviously there's a lot more than 5 things to think about when you're trying to build wealth and build your own perfect life for yourself. But all these are great points. All of these can, just maybe think a little bit differently. I really love his channel. I really love Garrett Gunderson's whenever he does like a full hour talk. He tries to be funny. He just seems very sweet and genuine. So I really like what he's trying to teach and how he's trying to change the world with his knowledge and stuff. He also talks about value creation and having a vision that's bigger than your problems. And he talks about finding hidden capital and mental and relationship capital. I guess you got to kind of dive deeper into his thing that he talks about whenever he's talking about, generating wealth and stuff. But the main thing is he doesn't believe in deferring everything and cutting everything and trying to be patient as possible with hoping that you're building a better life that you can live someday. He says it stifles creativity and it stifles your abilities and it doesn't really create value. So I do believe in being patient. Patience is one of my superpowers, I guess you could say. I feel like there's times to be patient and there's times when it's like you are just sitting around waiting for the most perfect thing that's never going to happen. You just have to get up and start today. So I think there's like a balance. But my point of today is I think that you should check out Garrett Gunderson and maybe you'll get some ideas and feel a little bit more positive about not feeling guilty for not wanting to do things that you don't want to do. Because I really believe you don't have to. Anyways, that's the show for today. I kind of went overboard yesterday. I didn't even know how that went so long. It felt like I was talking for 5 minutes and then it was over 20. So sorry about that. Trying to keep these at 15 minutes and thank you so much. And if you're listening with iTunes or Spotify, thanks for listening to the podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, thanks for hanging out. And if you enjoyed today's episode, you can always buy me coffee. All right. I still don't know how to end the show, and I'm just going to play the music.